Hi, today's video is going to be a little different than usual. It's a bit of a tutorial. It's a tutorial on improvisation, how to improvise. Now, if you are interested in learning about improvisation, if you're interested in improvisation, how to improvise, that sort of thing, please watch all the way to the end. There's a little table of contents sort of thing over there, and that table of contents shows that we're going to start with what I'm doing right now, which is the intro, and then we're going to go to the I'm going to thank the patrons, and then we're going to go into the demonstration. You probably should watch it if you are interested in improvisation, to see how I just improvise on the spot, spur of the moment. And then the explanation will hopefully give you some sort of idea of why it's almost impossible to demonstrate specifically how to improvise. The explanation hopefully will give you a better insight into how you can use your own abilities to become a much better improviser. That's about it. So before we get started, I would like to thank my patrons on Venmo and PayPal here on YouTube, and they are Julie S. and Skydiver Tanner, Judy Bassett, and Carl Edwards, Anssi Rauhala and Rusty Walker, 2AHD Cat, and Francis Monaghan, my anonymous donor, and Joe Martocchio, Uncle Andy Guitar Herbst, and Philip Merrihew. I'd like to thank Stacy Thomas and Janet Chung, Frank Terzo and Donna Mitchell. And I'd like to thank Nowpinion, Iclone Fun, and Cassie McMullin. And lastly, I would like to thank Remain Grateful Covers. And if you would like to become a donor, patron, whatever, there's links in the description down there. And also, please, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Do that. What do you call it? Smash the like button thing, whatever. All that YouTube stuff. It helps the channel grow. And now, please watch the video that I prepared the other day. And thank you. Hi. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a short, hopefully not too long, piano lesson or music lesson on how to improvise. Now, how to improvise seems like a big subject, but we're gonna try to start with just the very, 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 very most basic thing that we need to start with when we improvise, and that is we need to decide on the first note. So if we randomly pick a note, say we decide on either, let's do A flat. So we've started with an A flat. What are we going to do now? Now, you may be asking yourself, what the heck was that all about? I told you one note, and then I just played a bunch of stuff. Here's the problem with trying to teach people how to improvise. Improvisation is not something you can teach the same way you teach a scale. When you teach a scale, you can teach the specific notes that are in that scale. You can teach exactly a perfect fingering for that scale. There's many things you can teach when you teach scales and technique. You can teach technique exactly, precisely. You can teach people to do very specific things with technique and scales and interpretations of classical music. There's a lot of things you can teach precisely. Improvisation is something that's more of a philosophical thing, I think. Although you can do it as a child, you can do it, and probably if you can access the part of your brain that is very childlike, that's probably the best part of your brain to use when you're improvising, because it is using your imagination to find new ways to do things, to take something that you've learned and apply it and make your own thing out of it. So, what is improvisation? It's taking something that you understand the ideas of and making your own presentation, your own composition of it on the spot. Now, does it help to have years and years of piano playing experience? Of course it does. Basically, as an improviser, you're taking everything that you've ever learned, every piece of music that you've ever heard, and using it as if your brain is this big library of different ideas, different musical ideas, it may be an exploration of a scale that you perfected. As you know, if you've perfected your scales, then they should come in handy when you're improvising. If you've perfected ragtime music from playing Scott Joplin, some of that might sneak into your improvisation. If you've perfected playing Chopin etudes, hopefully some of that will show up in your improvisation. Improvisation is basically what comes from years and years of playing, or even weeks and weeks of playing. When I first started improvising, I didn't know anything about what I was doing, and I'm sure it sounded like garbage to anybody around me, and I think my sister will attest to that. I think she begged and begged and begged to my mom, please make him stop. But I was insistent, and I kept playing, and I kept playing, and I kept playing. But improvisation is something that comes from wanting to create something new. And the whole point of the first note of the song is, I think, and I hope I didn't say this already because I have a tendency to ramble and repeat myself, but if you've watched the Lord of the Rings movies, I'm not sure if this is a quote that's taken from the book, but at one point I believe Frodo says that Bilbo had said, when you take that first step outside of your door, you never know where the journey is going to take you, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the exact words. But when it comes to improvisation, that is an important thing. Is when you sit down, like, what is the first note? But then it's also, what is the next note? And what is the next note after that? And if you don't take that first step, you will never make that journey. And that really is what improvisation is all about. If you don't take the first step, you'll never take the second step. And always try something new, try something different. Seek out new paths and new ways to do things, and always be looking for a new bit of information that may help you learn something about your own improvisational abilities, whether it's playing, a piece by Bach or playing a piece by Britney Spears. It doesn't matter who it is. It's whoever you listen to, and whoever's popular may have a song that you're like, oh, well, that's an interesting thing that I can do. I believe I've forgotten what his name is, Richard Thompson. I hope I got the name right. He did a thing like a 400 or 1,000 years of musical progress or musical something or other. And he did a thing where he played a Britney Spears song as if it was a Renaissance guitar piece. And it was the funniest thing because, you can take a pop melody and turn it into the kind of melody that works as a Renaissance or a Baroque piece. Every piece of music that you play, every piece of music that you hear will teach you something about music. So, improvisation, if you want to be a great improviser, yes, if you want to be great at improvisation, listen to everything, play everything, learn a million songs. If you only know 3 songs, you're probably not going to be a great improviser. If you know 100 songs or 300 songs, you're going to be a much better improviser because you're going to have more to take ideas from, a bigger library to access. So that's pretty much all I got to say. If you want to be a great improviser, learn a lot of songs and play a lot of music and try to improvise every single day. If you improvise every single day, you'll get better at it. If you don't improvise because you're afraid to play the first note, well, if you don't take that first step outside your door, you're never going on that journey.